So if you're watching this, you've probably been finding more hair than usual on your pillow. Maybe it's been clogging the shower drain, or it's been wrapped around your brush, and it can be really frightening. Maybe you've been photographing your parting, counting the hairs, or scrolling through forums at 2 in the morning. And what I want you to know is that what you're feeling is completely valid, and there's so much you can do for your hair loss. I'm Dr. Amy Vowler, and I specialise in women's hair loss, and I see patients every single week who describe exactly what you're going through right now. So the first question everyone always asks me is how much hair loss is actually normal? Now the average person loses between 50 and 100 hairs a day. Now even though that sounds like quite a lot, most of the time you don't even notice because new hairs are growing in to replace them. People often notice it most often when they're washing or brushing their hair because those actions dislodge the hairs that were already they're ready to fall out. And also as wet hair clumps together, a handful in the shower can look far more alarming than it actually is. But here's when you should be concerned. So if your parting here looks wider than it did 6 months ago, that's not shedding, that tends to be thinning. Also if your ponytail feels noticeably thinner, or if you need an extra loop of your hair tie. Another thing to watch out for is if the shedding has been going on for more than 3 months, especially if it's not slowing down. And lastly, if you can see scalp through the hair, especially here on the temples, where you couldn't see it before. Now, if any of that sounds familiar, something has changed and it's absolutely worth finding out what. Now, women's hair loss isn't one condition. There are several common causes and they all need different treatments. So let me walk you through the ones that I see most often. So first up is stress shedding. Now this is what we call telogen effluvium, and it's the most common type I see in women under 50. Often a physical or emotional stressor such as illness, surgery, crash dieting, or a major life event can push a large number of follicles into the resting phase at once. Now 2 to 3 months later, they all fall out. However, the good news is this is almost always temporary. You just need to find out what that thing is and reverse it. Now, number 2 is hormonal changes. Now, your hair follicles are incredibly sensitive to hormones. So perimenopause, polycystic ovaries, thyroid problems, coming off the pill, all of these can trigger hair loss. And hormonal causes need specific blood tests to identify. Unfortunately, a standard GP blood test often won't include what's needed, and also trichoscopy can really help, which most GPs aren't able to do. Now, number 3 is nutritional deficiencies. So when your body is low on iron, vitamin D, B12, zinc, hair is one of the very first things that it deprioritises. This is one of the most straightforwardly treatable causes. However, you need a blood test to know exactly what to correct, and more importantly, by how much. Now, number 4 is female pattern hair loss. Now, this is the most common cause of progressive long-term thinning. It's genetic, it's hormonal, and unfortunately it will continue if you don't stop it and treat it. However, when it's caught early, it can respond really well to treatment. So actually, what should you do? Now, there's 3 things. First, and most important, don't panic. Most hair loss in women is treatable, especially when it's caught early, and the fact that you're already looking into this is absolutely the right move. Now, second, think back over the last 3 to 6 months. Have you been under unusual stress? Have you changed your diet, started or stopped medication, had a baby, or gone through any hormonal shifts? As there's often a 2 to 3 month delay between the trigger, what caused the hair loss, and the actual shedding. So the cause might not be immediately obvious. Now, third is get proper investigations. These include proper blood tests, not just a basic panel. And a comprehensive hair blood test panel would include things like ferritin, vitamin D, thyroid, and hormonal markers. That single step will either identify a treatable cause or actually just as helpfully rule one out. Now, if your hair loss is getting worse and you want answers, not just another supplement or a thickening shampoo, I'd really love to help. So a hair GP consultation is a 50-minute medical appointment. You'll get a full history review, scalp examination, trichoscopy, and once we've got the diagnosis, we'll form a personalised treatment plan together. All in one appointment, one doctor, and a really clear plan forward. If you want more information, there's a link in the description to book, or you can visit hairgp.co.uk. Thanks.